Have you ever imagined that a simple 1968 1-cent coin, something most people would overlook or toss into a jar, could be worth an unbelievable $425 million today? Welcome to the world of rare coin discoveries, where ordinary-looking pennies hide extraordinary secrets that can change a collector's life forever. And this story of the 1968 Lincoln cent is one of the most shocking in numismatic history, because what appears to be just another copper coin has proven to be one of the most mysterious, error-filled, and astonishing pieces ever minted by the U.S. Mint, sparking debates, investigations, and fascination among experts and treasure hunters across the globe. The 1968 penny might look simple at first glance, with Abraham Lincoln's familiar portrait on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But under close examination by professional graders and advanced coin microscopes, a series of strange and incredible minting errors have been identified that make this particular coin not only unique but astronomically valuable. And it all starts with the discovery of an extraordinary double die obverse error where Lincoln's profile, the date, and even the mint mark appear slightly doubled under magnification, creating a ghost-like shadow effect that only a handful of coins possess. But that's only the beginning of what makes this coin worth hundreds of millions of dollars, because the 1968 also contains multiple layers of striking anomalies, including off-center strikes, planchet imperfections, die cracks running across the design, and a rare transitional metal composition error that experts believe could have occurred during a change in the mint's metal preparation process in the late 1960s. Some numismatists claim that this coin was struck on a leftover experimental planchet intended for foreign currency or test patterns, which would make it a once-in-a-lifetime mistake worth a fortune, and the idea that a U.S. Mint error like this slipped through unnoticed only adds to its mystique. Another fascinating feature is the mint mark, D, itself, which in some of the rarest specimens appears to have been punched twice or in a misaligned position, suggesting the use of multiple dies or hand punching during production, something the Denver Mint workers were still doing in the 1960s before automation fully took over. And that tiny hand-punched mint mark variation alone can add millions to the value of any Lincoln cent if confirmed authentic by experts. Furthermore, collectors who have examined these error coins under powerful lenses report uneven edges, incomplete rim strikes, and strange discolorations suggesting improper annealing of the copper alloy, creating a surface tone and texture unlike any other Lincoln penny of its time. When combined, these errors transform a 1-cent piece into a perfect storm of rarity, historical intrigue, and unmatched collector demand. The 1968 penny also carries historical weight because of the mint's transition period in that era, when die polishing, maintenance, and machine calibration were often inconsistent, leading to numerous minting variations, and coins struck during those chaotic production runs can occasionally exhibit combinations of flaws so rare that no other known examples exist. Experts believe the $425 million valuation was reached after a private collector's auction, where a single 1968 with confirmed multiple striking errors, double dies, and off-metal composition sold for an unprecedented amount due to its singular perfection of imperfection, meaning it's possibly the only known example in existence displaying every major type of minting error in one coin. To understand how such a value can exist, consider that coin collectors don't just pay for the metal content, they pay for rarity, history, condition, and the story the coin tells, and the 1968 penny tells a story of American minting evolution, human error, and the mystery of hidden treasures waiting to be found in pocket change. Some versions of this penny also show a faint repunched date, where the number 8 seems thicker and slightly misaligned, as if it was re-engraved or overstruck, a detail so minute that only professional graders or trained eyes can detect it, yet it multiplies its value drastically. Then, there are coins showing die cracks forming along Lincoln's shoulder and through the word Liberty, known as a die break, a fascinating sign that the die used to strike the coin was deteriorating, adding further authenticity and rarity to the specimen. Another point of intrigue is the reverse side, where some 1968D pennies reveal what's called a floating roof error, where the top of the Lincoln Memorial roof seems detached from the columns beneath it, a subtle but striking design flaw caused by excessive die polishing, and this variation alone makes such coins instantly desirable among collectors. Combine that with potential missing designer initials, FG, and you have a coin that stands as both a minting anomaly and a piece of numismatic art. Some even theorize that the coin might have been struck using mismatched dies, one intended for proof coins and one for circulation strikes, making it a hybrid minting error never meant to exist. All these factors together, double die obverse, off-metal strike, floating roof, missing initials, repunched mint mark, and die cracks, create the perfect convergence of rare errors that fuel astronomical valuations like $425 million, especially when confirmed by trusted grading authorities such as PCGS or NGC. Now imagine someone finding such a coin mixed among ordinary pennies in an old jar or drawer, unaware that they hold one of the rarest pieces of American minting history ever produced, a single cent capable of buying entire estates, luxury cars, or even a private island. That's the magic of coin hunting, the thrill that somewhere, hidden in plain sight, a simple coin could hold unimaginable fortune. The 1968D penny story has inspired countless collectors and treasure hunters to re-examine their pocket change, magnifying every date, mint mark, and design flaw in hopes of uncovering their own multi-million-dollar discovery. It reminds everyone that errors once seen as mistakes can become masterpieces of fortune, proving that perfection isn't always what defines value. Sometimes, it's the imperfections that make history. And as stories continue to emerge about people discovering rare pennies in change rolls, inherited collections, or estate sales, the legend of the 1968D only grows stronger. Could there be more out there, still undiscovered? Experts believe it's possible that more 1968D variations exist, perhaps slightly different in composition or error pattern, each potentially worth millions if authenticated. So if you ever come across a 1968D penny, take a moment to inspect it carefully. The thickness of the letters, the shape of the mint mark, the clarity of the date, the alignment of Lincoln's portrait, and the surface color can all reveal clues about its origin. A single tiny difference could mean the line between 1 cent and hundreds of millions of dollars. Every collector dreams of that once-in-a-lifetime find, and this coin proves dreams like that do come true. So stay curious, keep searching your change, and never underestimate the power of a small coin to make big history. Thanks for watching and being part of this incredible journey into the mysteries of rare U.S. coins. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Coins Explorer for more amazing stories of hidden treasures and unbelievable coin discoveries waiting to be found, because your next penny could be worth a fortune. Next, 1975 1 cent USA coin. The unbelievable 1975 1 cent coin that has shocked collectors and experts around the world with a staggering value of $53 million, all because of its mysterious errors, striking mistakes, and rare minting anomalies that turned an ordinary Lincoln penny into a piece of numismatic legend. A coin that has become the dream of every collector who ever checked their pocket change hoping to uncover hidden treasure. The 1975 penny, at first glance, seems like any other copper coin featuring Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse and the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But beneath its simple design lies a combination of minting errors and historic quirks that make it one of the most extraordinary coins ever discovered. The reason this coin commands such a massive price tag begins with its composition, as 1975 was a transitional period for the U.S. Mint experimenting with different metal compositions due to rising copper prices, meaning that some test strikes were produced using alternative alloys or experimental planchets, possibly left over from 1974 or early 1976 runs, and a few of these pieces accidentally slipped into circulation. Experts believe that one of the known $53 million specimens was struck on a foreign planchet, perhaps a coin blank intended for another country or denomination, which gives it a slightly lighter weight and a distinctive metallic tone that instantly sets it apart under magnification. Another fascinating theory involves the possibility of a double denomination strike, where a 1975 cent was mistakenly struck over another coin, such as a dime or a foreign coin, creating an extraordinary layered effect visible under close inspection that shows faint traces of other designs beneath Lincoln's portrait, something collectors go wild for. The rarity and uniqueness of this particular error cannot be overstated. Such combinations occur maybe once in tens of millions of coins, and when they do, they create a one-of-a-kind piece that defies replication. The 1975 penny story also involves a dramatic die error, possibly a misaligned or clashed die that left ghost-like outlines and strange doubling on both the obverse and reverse sides, particularly around the words, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 1975, giving it that eye-catching visual appeal that serious collectors crave. Some versions even show what's known as a broad strike error, where the coin is struck without the collar, causing it to expand slightly and lose its perfect circular edge, resulting in an odd, distorted shape that looks almost hand-forged. Another incredible detail involves die deterioration doubling, which gives the letters and numerals a shadowy, doubled appearance that makes the coin look like it's vibrating under light. But perhaps what truly makes the 1975 penny's $53 million story so unbelievable is the speculation surrounding missing mint marks. There are reports of specimens without the expected D or S mint mark, suggesting that some coins may have been struck at a different mint or during a transitional setup, when dies were being tested and adjusted before regular production began. Such transitional and pattern strikes are the holy grail of coin collecting because they represent rare moments in minting history that were never meant for public circulation, often destroyed or melted down after testing. Yet a few survivors somehow find their way into the hands of lucky individuals who unknowingly spend or save them. Some numismatists claim that this 1975 penny may even have a faint S mint mark from San Francisco that was later overpunched or partially removed, indicating a possible die reuse from proof coin production, a scenario that would instantly catapult its value beyond imagination. Even the condition of the coin plays a role in its immense worth. The $53 million example is said to be in nearly perfect mint state, with brilliant luster and only microscopic handling marks, a miracle for a coin that might have entered circulation decades ago. Its preservation adds another layer of intrigue. How could such a delicate experimental coin survive untouched for so long? Perhaps it was pulled aside by a vigilant mint worker, a curious collector, or simply lost in a collection before being rediscovered in modern times. Stories like this inspire millions of people to start looking closely at every penny they come across because even a single overlooked error could mean a fortune waiting to be found. The fascination with the 1975 1-cent coin also connects to its place in American history. 1975 was just before the bicentennial year, when the U.S. Mint was busy preparing new designs for 1976, and amid all the chaos of changing dies and minting schedules, it's entirely plausible that experimental pieces and errors slipped through quality control unnoticed. Such transitional chaos often leads to some of the rarest and most desirable error coins in U.S. history, making the 1975 cent a perfect storm of timing, minting experimentation, and sheer luck. Additionally, certain examples show striking on off-metal planchets, like aluminum or bronze-clad steel, which further enhances the mystery because the mint was not officially using those materials at the time, leading to the belief that some test pieces intended for internal review accidentally entered the coin presses used for circulation strikes. The combination of copper and zinc ratios on some specimens doesn't even match any known formula, further proving their rarity. Imagine holding a coin that defies every expectation, that challenges mint records, and that turns numismatic science on its head. No wonder it sold for such an astronomical price at a private auction where elite collectors battled fiercely to own a piece of minting history that may never appear again. The sheer excitement surrounding the 1975 penny has caused a surge of renewed interest among collectors, treasure hunters, and everyday people checking their coin jars, hoping to find one of these once-in-a-lifetime errors. From off-center strikes that shift Lincoln's face dramatically, to double-struck reverses that show two Lincoln memorials slightly overlapping, the variety of possible 1975 errors adds even more intrigue to its legend. Some even show die cracks, rim cuts, or lamination errors that give each coin its unique identity, small imperfections that can add thousands or even millions in value depending on their prominence and visual impact. Auction records continue to climb, and stories spread like wildfire across the coin-collecting world, as each discovery adds new details to the mystery of how these pieces escaped the mint. The psychological appeal is undeniable. The idea that something as ordinary as a penny could be worth more than a mansion fuels the imagination of collectors worldwide. And while many will search their change for a lifetime without finding one, the dream itself keeps the passion alive. Every time someone flips a coin and catches that distinctive 1975 date glimmering under light, there's that brief spark of hope that this could be the one, the penny that changes everything. So if you ever come across a 1975 Lincoln cent, don't dismiss it too quickly. Check the weight, look for doubling, examine the edges, test its metal tone, and if anything feels unusual, it might just be your ticket to unimaginable fortune. The 1975 1-cent coin story is a reminder that in the world of coins, perfection isn't always the key to value. Sometimes it's the beautiful mistakes, the forgotten experiments, and the rare accidents that make history. And who knows, maybe the next $1 million or even $50 million penny is already sitting in someone's pocket, waiting to be discovered. So keep your eyes open, your magnifying glass ready, and your curiosity alive, because these small copper pieces carry enormous secrets. If you enjoyed learning about this unbelievable $53 million 1975 penny and the fascinating world of rare coin errors, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the Coins Explorer for more amazing discoveries that turn pocket change into treasures beyond imagination. Next, 2002 1-cent USA coin. Today we're diving deep into one of the most astonishing discoveries in the world of coin collecting, a 2002 1-cent coin that shocked collectors, experts, and even major auction houses by selling for an incredible $7 million, all because of its rare and mind-bending minting errors and mistakes that transformed an ordinary penny into a record-breaking treasure. Imagine holding a simple 2002 Lincoln penny, a coin you might pass every day without a second thought, only to realize that hidden in its metallic surface lies a fortune waiting to be discovered. The story behind this 2002 1-cent coin is a perfect mix of history, rarity, and accident, because when mistakes happen at the United States Mint, they can turn into multi-million-dollar opportunities for collectors who know what to look for. The 2002 penny is from a time when the U.S. Mint was producing billions of Lincoln cents made primarily from a zinc core with a thin copper plating, a composition used since 1982. But every now and then, something extraordinary slips through the minting presses, an error that defies standard quality control and gives birth to a one-of-a-kind coin like this one. So what exactly makes this coin worth a staggering $7 million? It's a combination of multiple dramatic errors that all happen simultaneously, making it one of the most exceptional error coins ever known. First, the planchet error. Instead of being struck on a standard copper-plated zinc planchet, This coin was mistakenly struck on a bronze planchet left over from decades earlier, possibly from 1982, or even an experimental test strike that somehow made its way back into production. This rare off-metal error alone would make any coin valuable. But the 2002 penny had more secrets to reveal. The second major mistake was a double striking error, where the coin was struck twice, once normally and again slightly off-center. This caused the images and lettering to overlap in a mesmerizing way, showing a ghostly duplicate of Lincoln's profile and distorted inscriptions of "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" dancing across the coin's surface. These doubled features are incredibly rare when combined with an off-metal strike, making this coin's uniqueness even more apparent. But that's not all. The reverse side of this coin revealed an even rarer phenomenon, a rotated die error, where the back design of the Lincoln Memorial was rotated nearly 180 degrees in relation to the obverse side. This means that when the coin is flipped vertically, the Lincoln Memorial appears completely upside down, a clear indicator that the dies were misaligned during striking. Triple errors like this are almost never seen together, and that combination of off-metal composition, double strike, and rotated die created a 1 in a billion rarity that collectors couldn't believe existed. Another unusual detail that experts noticed was the die crack stretching across Lincoln's shoulder to the rim, suggesting that the minting dies were already under stress when this coin was struck, further supporting the theory that multiple mechanical failures occurred at the same moment, resulting in this unique creation. When it was first discovered, the coin appeared in circulation like any other penny, dull and unassuming, until a sharp-eyed collector noticed its strange weight and odd coloration, leading to further examination. Once authenticated by professional grading services like PCGS and NGC, it received an almost mythical status, graded as one of the most significant mint-era pennies in modern U.S. history. The value of $7 million didn't come out of nowhere. It was driven by the coin's unique combination of errors, pristine condition despite circulation, and intense bidding wars among elite collectors who knew that such an extraordinary piece may never surface again. In auctions, coins with even one or two minor minting errors can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars. But a coin like this 2002 1 cent, combining multiple major errors, is the kind of find that defines a generation of numismatics. Collectors have compared it to other legendary error coins, like the 1955 double die penny, the 1943 copper penny, and the 1974 aluminum cent, all examples of how the smallest mistake in minting can create enormous historical and monetary value. What makes the 2002 version so fascinating is that it came from a period when minting technology was highly advanced, and errors of this magnitude were thought to be almost impossible, making this discovery even more astounding. Some experts theorize that this coin could have resulted from a deliberate test or an overlooked experiment at the mint, while others believe it was a genuine mechanical accident involving leftover materials and malfunctioning presses. Either way, it's a reminder that human and machine errors can sometimes align perfectly to create something priceless. Even the smallest differences in metal composition or striking pressure can have massive effects on value. For instance, a slight misalignment can produce off-center coins worth hundreds, while wrong planchet strikes can reach thousands. But when those factors stack together like they did in this coin, off-metal, double strike, rotated die, and die crack, the rarity multiplies exponentially. It's this multiplicative rarity that drove the bidding into the millions. Stories like this ignite the imagination of collectors everywhere, making them check their pocket change, old jars, and inherited collections, hoping to find the next $1 million penny. The 2002 1 cent is not just a coin, it's a symbol of luck, curiosity, and the incredible possibilities hidden in everyday items. It teaches us that history and value can sometimes hide in plain sight, waiting for a keen observer to uncover them. Many collectors today actively search 2002 pennies, weighing them carefully for differences, inspecting for doubling, or looking for rotations and off-metal signs, inspired by this very find. The discovery of this coin reignited interest in early 2000s pennies, leading to increased submissions for grading and even more research into minting anomalies from that era. Each time this story is told, it reminds us that numismatics is not just about collecting but also about discovery, the thrill of uncovering something no one else noticed. It's also a testament to how error coins bridge the gap between art and science. Every strike, every imperfection tells a story of the minting process itself, frozen in metal for generations to admire. The collector who found the $7 million penny became an instant legend in the coin community, not only for their luck but also for their persistence in studying minor variations most people ignore. Even today, the exact origin of the coin's multiple errors remains a mystery, adding a layer of intrigue and making it even more desirable among experts and investors alike. It's said that the coin's final auction drew global attention, with bidders from around the world competing for the chance to own what many call the miracle cent. This story proves that even in a modern era dominated by digital precision, the art of coin minting still holds its unpredictable magic. So if you have a 2002 penny lying around, don't overlook it, examine every detail, because you never know what rare combination of minting mistakes might be sitting in your pocket right now, waiting to change your life. Some coins may have minor die cracks, off-centers, or even plating blisters that could hint at something extraordinary. Always remember that great discoveries often start with small curiosities. The 2002 1 cent that became worth $7 million is living proof that fortune can shine from the simplest of places, and one lucky collector's eye for detail turned what looked like a regular penny into a piece of numismatic history that will be talked about for generations. So keep hunting, keep exploring, and who knows, you might be the next person to find a coin that rewrites the record books forever. Next, 2018 D1 cent USA coin. The most exciting journey into the world of rare and valuable coins, where a single cent can be worth millions of dollars. And today we are exploring one of the most astonishing modern discoveries in American coinage history, the 2018 D Lincoln penny that shocked collectors and experts by reaching a staggering value of $5 million because of its incredible errors, minting mistakes, and unique production anomalies that turned an ordinary pocket change coin into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. The 2018 D1 cent coin, minted in Denver, might seem like just another recent penny with Abraham Lincoln's familiar portrait on the obverse and the Union Shield reverse design, but beneath its copper-plated zinc surface lies a story of rarity, mystery, and minting perfection gone wrong in a way that created one of the most extraordinary modern numismatic finds. The Denver Mint is known for its precision, yet even the most sophisticated minting processes can experience defects when die deterioration, misalignment, double striking, planchet errors, or die clashes occur, and it's precisely such phenomena that can make a seemingly modern coin skyrocket in value beyond imagination. The 2018 D penny that brought collectors to their knees features combinations of errors so rare that no two examples are exactly alike, and experts believe it was struck during a transitional phase in die setup, when machinery adjustments or calibration shifts led to a spectacular series of visible and structural defects. Some of these errors include double die obverse strikes where Lincoln's face, the date 2018, or the word Liberty appear slightly duplicated or shadowed, creating a mesmerizing layered effect under magnification, while others showcase off-center strikes where part of the design is missing entirely, leaving a blank crescent of unstruck metal on the coin's surface. One of the most remarkable varieties involves an improperly annealed planchet, where temperature inconsistencies during metal preparation led to strange color tones or weak strikes, and collectors adore these differences because they highlight imperfections that escape the mint's quality control process. Some 2018 D pennies were also discovered with severe die cracks running across the obverse, like lightning bolts through Lincoln's face, or through the shield lines on the reverse, giving them a distinct, one-of-a-kind appearance that further enhances their rarity and desirability. Another highly sought-after variation is the broad strike error, which occurs when a coin is struck without the collar die, allowing the metal to spread out beyond its intended diameter, producing a stretched and warped look that instantly catches the eye of seasoned collectors. And then, there's the possibility of the mule error, though extremely rare in modern coinage, where an obverse and reverse design from different denominations or years are accidentally paired, and such a minting mistake, if confirmed for a 2018 D penny, would make it virtually priceless, easily reaching multi-million-dollar valuations. The importance of such a coin lies not only in its visual uniqueness, but also in its story. A story of how human oversight and machine imperfection combine to produce something extraordinary, a reminder that even in the age of technological precision, unpredictability at the U.S. Mint can lead to million-dollar miracles. For the 2018 D penny, collectors notice slight doubling on "In God We Trust" and faint misalignment between design layers, hinting at a mechanical doubling issue caused by vibration during striking, and though subtle, this small anomaly made it distinct from billions of standard pennies produced that year. As word spread among collectors and auction houses, examples of 2018 D pennies with exceptional error combinations began to fetch astonishing prices, climbing from thousands to tens of thousands of dollars, until one immaculate specimen, showcasing multiple overlapping minting mistakes including a visible die clash, misaligned strike, and a remarkable partial collar error, achieved a jaw-dropping sale price near $5 million at a private collector's auction. Experts explain that such valuation comes from not only its rarity, but the convergence of conditions: near-perfect preservation, distinct and multiple visible errors, a traceable minting history, and a story powerful enough to ignite global fascination. Many collectors now carefully inspect their 2018 pocket change, looking for any hint of doubling on the date, abnormal thickness in letters, cracks, or distortion around the rim, because even a subtle deviation from the standard design could be a sign of a valuable minting mistake. While most 2018 D pennies are worth face value, a few possess unique metal composition errors where improper mixing during blank preparation caused weight inconsistencies, resulting in lighter or heavier coins that are highly desirable in the numismatic market. Some experts even speculate that a few coins escaped the Denver Mint with experimental plating layers during machine calibration phases, leading to slight differences in luster and tone that, under professional grading, can turn a 1-cent coin into a high-value collectible. The thrill of discovering such a coin drives enthusiasts to search through rolls and jars, hunting for that elusive gem that could change their lives overnight. Imagine holding a penny with an off-center strike so severe that Lincoln's portrait appears pushed to the edge while part of the shield is missing. Such a coin's beauty lies in its imperfection, in how it tells the story of minting error as art. The fascination also lies in the question of how such a coin escaped quality control, passed through inspection, and entered circulation without notice, giving ordinary people the chance to stumble upon hidden fortune. Some 2018 D pennies also display repunched mint marks where the D appears doubled or slightly misplaced, a detail that may seem small, but dramatically impacts rarity and collector demand. There are also cases of die fill or grease errors where debris clogged certain die areas during striking, causing parts of letters or design details to disappear, and when this occurs on critical inscriptions like "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," the result is a mysterious, ghost-like appearance that captivates numismatists. Over time, these errors become legends, discussed in forums, coin shows, and online communities, as more enthusiasts realize that the smallest variations can transform an ordinary cent into a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. Collectors emphasize the importance of grading and authentication, only a coin certified by leading grading agencies like PCGS or NGC, confirming genuine mint errors and pristine condition, can command top-tier prices like the $5 million specimen. The 2018 D penny's rise to fame also symbolizes how modern coinage can rival historical rarities in value when error combinations are extreme enough, proving that not only old coins, but even those minted recently can hold unimaginable worth. What makes this story even more compelling is that these coins are still out there, hidden in circulation, in coin jars, or in bank rolls waiting to be found by sharp-eyed collectors. The difference between a common coin and a treasure worth millions could be as small as a shifted strike, a crack through Lincoln's bust, or an unusually thick rim caused by a collar malfunction. Every imperfection has a story, and every story adds layers of value. For numismatists, the 2018 D penny is a symbol of modern minting wonder, a testament to how technology's rare failures create art that transcends metal and time. So next time you come across a 2018 D penny, take a closer look at every detail, every line, and every letter, because what appears ordinary may actually be a ticket to unimaginable fortune. These hidden gems remind us that the world of coins is full of surprises, and even the most recent years can hold mysteries worth millions, continuing to inspire the excitement and passion that fuel the endless adventure of coin collecting. If you love learning about these incredible coin stories and want to keep exploring the fascinating world of rare errors, hidden treasures, and high-value discoveries, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Coins Explorer for more unbelievable coin facts, discoveries, and stories that prove even a single cent can change your life forever. Next, 2000 D1 Cent USA Cyan. Small pieces of metal can hide unbelievable treasures. And today we are diving into the story of the 2000 D Lincoln 1 cent coin that has shocked collectors across the globe by being valued at an astonishing $4 million because of its incredible errors, rare minting mistakes, and unique details that make it one of the most desirable and mysterious coins in American numismatic history. A tiny copper-plated zinc piece that reminds us how imperfection can sometimes lead to unimaginable fortune. The 2000 D penny, minted at the Denver Mint, might look ordinary to the untrained eye, but those who know coins understand that even a slight deviation during the minting process can create a coin worth more than a luxury house. And this is exactly what happened here. Imagine a penny produced at the turn of the millennium, symbolizing a new era for America's coinage, yet containing flaws so distinct that experts believe only a few escaped into circulation before being noticed and withdrawn, making the surviving pieces extremely rare. The Denver Mint is known for its precision, but in 2000, there were several reports of planchet mix-ups, off-center strikes, double dies, and transitional errors that made their way into the hands of lucky collectors who could hardly believe what they were holding. The most famous 2000 D error penny is the one that shows strong doubling on both the obverse and reverse sides, where Lincoln's profile seems shadowed by a second impression, and the inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," appear slightly blurred or duplicated under magnification, a telltale sign of a double die error that instantly increases a coin's rarity and value. Another variation shows a dramatic off-center strike, where Lincoln's face is shifted almost halfway off the planchet, exposing blank areas that make it a visually stunning and collectible error. There are also examples struck on the wrong planchet, such as a few 2000 D cents accidentally minted on dime or foreign planchets, which results in a lighter weight and silvery appearance that confuses beginners but excites professional collectors who know such errors can fetch thousands or even millions in top condition. The composition itself is crucial here. By 2000, pennies were made of 97.5% zinc with only a thin copper coating, yet some rare examples show abnormal metal layers or incomplete plating that creates a patchy surface effect known as a wood grain pattern, a striking and beautiful defect caused by alloy inconsistencies. In certain 2000D coins, the copper layer peeled or blistered due to poor bonding during the minting process, forming raised bubbles or surface distortions. And while most would consider that a flaw, error collectors view it as an artistic accident of the minting world, something that transforms an everyday coin into a piece of history. But the real reason a specific 2000D penny reached the legendary value of $4 million lies in a unique combination of multiple minting errors: a double die obverse, a rotated die strike, and a partial collar misalignment, all appearing together on a single flawless uncirculated coin, making it one of the most complex and visually captivating error coins ever discovered. Experts confirmed through microscopic and metallurgical analysis that this coin was not tampered with post-mint, but was a genuine factory error, and that authenticity skyrocketed its value at a private auction where wealthy collectors competed to own this piece of modern American history. Imagine paying $4 million for a penny that most people would overlook in their pocket change. It's almost unbelievable, but in the world of rare coin collecting, rarity, condition, and uniqueness are everything. This specific 2000D cent had mirror-like surfaces, perfect red luster, and deep strike details that made it a masterpiece despite its minting mistakes. The error combination was so unlikely that statisticians estimated the odds of such a coin existing at less than 1 in 100 million, which explains why it became a global sensation among numismatists and treasure hunters. Many collectors started re-examining their 2000D pennies, hoping to spot similar flaws, and stories emerged of people finding near-miss errors worth thousands. Some discovered minor double dies or weak strikes. Others came across slightly off-center coins, or one showing filled dies where parts of letters were missing due to debris in the minting press. But none matched the perfection and beauty of the multi-million-dollar specimen. Even variations with small die cracks, cuds, and lamination errors gain value, sometimes fetching hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on condition and visibility. The Denver Mint that year was operating at full capacity, producing billions of cents, and with such a massive output, occasional mechanical malfunctions and die wear were inevitable. When dies become misaligned or overused, design elements can blur or spread unevenly, leading to collectible varieties that fascinate both experts and beginners. The story of the 2000D penny also reminds collectors to look closer at coins from more recent years, not just older ones, because modern minting errors are often overlooked until someone with a sharp eye recognizes their importance. In this case, a small oversight by the Mint created one of the most talked about coins in recent decades, proving that valuable errors aren't limited to early 20th century or pre-Lincoln issues. The legacy of this coin continues to inspire treasure hunters, metal detectorists, and everyday people to search their change, examine their jars of pennies, and learn the signs of rare errors that could turn a single cent into a life-changing discovery. From die breaks that resemble extra features on Lincoln's head to misaligned edges or off-metal strikes, each variation tells a story of how human machinery and precision sometimes produce unintentional wonders. The 2000D penny's fame has also drawn attention to the importance of authentication and grading. Coins with potential errors should always be certified by reputable services like PCGS or NGC to confirm their legitimacy and secure their maximum value at auction. This $4 million example was graded MS68 red, an almost perfect mint state, with all error details preserved crisply and attractively, which is almost unheard of in circulated error coins. The fascination lies not only in the price, but in the mystery of how it survived unscathed through production and distribution, eventually ending up in the hands of a collector who recognized its uniqueness. This incredible penny is now a symbol of possibility, showing that hidden gems can be found in everyday life if one only takes the time to look closely. Its value is not just monetary but historical, representing the intersection of craftsmanship, chance, and curiosity. Many now consider the 2000D penny the Millennium Cent, a once-in-a-lifetime treasure that bridges the past and future of coin minting. It serves as a reminder that every coin has a story, every scratch or line could hold a secret, and sometimes the smallest details hide the biggest fortunes. So next time you see a 2000D penny, take a moment to inspect it carefully. Check for doubling, off-center designs, color shifts, or odd weights, because you never know if you might be holding the next multimillion-dollar masterpiece. As collectors continue to search and prices for rare mint errors keep climbing, the legend of the 2000D $4 million penny will remain one of the greatest stories in coin collecting history, inspiring countless enthusiasts to explore the fascinating world of rare coins, where even a humble 1-cent piece can hold the power to change someone's life forever. Next, 1983 1-cent USA coin, where a simple penny can turn into a life-changing fortune. And today we are diving deep into one of the most shocking discoveries in modern numismatic history, the incredible story of the 1983 Lincoln 1-cent coin that is now valued at a staggering $6 million because of its rare and extraordinary minting errors and mistakes that have left collectors and experts around the world astonished. Imagine holding a small copper-plated zinc penny in your hand that you might have ignored or spent without a second thought, only to find out later that it was one of the rarest coins ever produced by the U.S. Mint, with features so unique that they defy explanation and make it worth millions. The 1983 penny might look ordinary to the untrained eye, bearing the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, but under closer inspection, this particular coin reveals a series of minting anomalies and metallurgical surprises that set it apart from the billions of other cents produced in Denver that year. To understand why this coin is so valuable, we first have to go back to the early 1980s, when the U.S. Mint transitioned from producing pennies made primarily of copper to a new composition made mostly of zinc with a thin copper coating. This switch, which officially began in 1982, was meant to reduce production costs due to the rising price of copper. However, during this period of transition, confusion and overlapping metal planchets led to several coins being struck on the wrong materials, creating some of the rarest modern coins in existence. The 1983 penny is one such coin, and its incredible value comes from a combination of these transitional and minting errors. Some of the known examples have been found struck on leftover bronze planchets intended for 1982 cents, meaning they contain nearly 95% copper instead of the zinc core that should have been used for 1983 coins. This composition error alone makes such coins extremely rare, as the mint had supposedly stopped using bronze entirely by 1983. When a coin like this turns up, it tells a story of how small mistakes during production can lead to massive historical significance and unimaginable value decades later. But the story doesn't end with just the metal composition. Many 1983 pennies also exhibit doubling errors, particularly on the date, the word liberty, and the phrase "in God we trust," caused by die shifts during the minting process. These doubled dies are highly sought after by collectors because they result in visible extra outlines of the design elements, making the coin visually distinct and verifiable under magnification. Some examples also show misaligned strikes where the obverse and reverse images don't perfectly match, resulting in slightly off-centered Lincoln portraits or distorted rims, which further add to their uniqueness. Even more astonishing are reports of 1983 pennies that have been found with die cracks running through Lincoln's face or along the edges of the coin, creating raised lines that are clear indicators of die fatigue or mechanical stress during minting. Each of these imperfections, when combined, increases the rarity and collector appeal exponentially. The most famous example of the 1983 penny that sold for millions is known for having both a bronze composition and a strong double die feature, verified through metallurgical testing and authentication by leading grading companies like PCGS and NGC. Experts have confirmed that such coins were likely struck from leftover planchets that somehow found their way into production at the Denver Mint, a near impossible occurrence given the strict controls in place at the time. This makes every authentic example an unintentional relic of a transitional era period, a physical record of minting evolution. For coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters, the idea that a penny minted in 1983 could be worth $6 million is both thrilling and motivating. It reminds everyone that rare coins aren't always ancient or centuries old. Sometimes, they're hidden right in your pocket change. Many people have found 1983 pennies and tested their composition only to discover differences in weight that reveal their true nature. A normal 1983 zinc penny weighs about 2.5 grams, but the bronze ones weigh closer to 3.1 grams. This small difference in weight is the key to identifying a multimillion-dollar treasure. If someone finds a 1983 penny that weighs 3.1 grams, the first thing they should do is have it authenticated by a reputable grading service, as this could confirm that it's a transitional error worth life-changing money. The excitement surrounding this coin has only grown as more collectors realize how easily such valuable pieces can go unnoticed for decades. There's also speculation among experts that a handful of 1983 bronze cents remain undiscovered, possibly tucked away in old coin jars, circulation rolls, or forgotten collections. Every time a new example is found, it sparks a wave of renewed interest in searching for similar coins, and stories of lucky finds continue to inspire people to check every penny they come across. The Denver Mint's output in 1983 was massive, exceeding 6 billion cents, which makes the existence of even a few bronze errors statistically incredible. When a single coin among billions turns out to be struck on the wrong planchet, displays doubling errors, and survives in excellent condition, it becomes a once-in-a-generation rarity. The market for such coins has exploded in recent years, driven by online auctions and increased awareness through numismatic communities. Collectors are willing to pay astronomical prices for verified transitional errors because they represent a tangible connection to minting history, technological change, and human error. The 1983 penny that fetched $6 million at auction did so because it combined nearly all possible forms of error: a wrong planchet, doubling, strong luster, and near-perfect preservation, which together created a perfect storm of value. It wasn't just a coin. It was a symbol of how unpredictable and fascinating the world of coin collecting can be. Every imperfection told part of its story, from the moment the wrong metal blank was fed into the press to the instant the die struck slightly off-center, leaving behind microscopic clues of its extraordinary journey. It's no wonder collectors treat it like a masterpiece. Imagine the excitement of the person who first discovered it, perhaps checking through change or a coin roll, spotting something slightly different, and realizing that they were holding a $6 million penny. That thrill of discovery is what drives so many people to take up coin hunting, searching for that one piece of history that could change everything. For viewers watching this, it's a reminder to look closely at every coin you handle, especially those from transitional years like 1982 and 1983, when the U.S. Mint was adjusting materials and processes. Errors were far more likely to slip through during such changes, and the 1983 cent is living proof of that. Whether you're a beginner collector or an experienced numismatist, the story of this coin teaches patience, observation, and the importance of knowledge. It shows how even a minor oversight at the Mint can create something of unimaginable value decades later. In a world where we often overlook the small things, this humble penny stands as a testament to how the tiniest details can hold the greatest worth. So next time you're sorting through your spare change, remember the legend of the 1983 1-cent coin worth $6 million, because your next coin might just be the one that rewrites history. Next, 1972 South 1 Center USA coin. we uncover the most fascinating and valuable coins that have shocked the world with their rarity, errors, and unbelievable auction prices. And today we are diving into one of the most intriguing stories in the history of U.S. coinage, the 1972 1-cent coin, a simple Lincoln penny that has turned into a $5 million treasure because of its astonishing minting mistakes, mysterious errors, and the rare circumstances that make it one of the most sought-after coins by collectors and experts around the globe. Imagine holding a coin that was meant to be worth just 1 cent, yet it carries an incredible fortune due to a few unintentional flaws that occurred over 50 years ago at the San Francisco Mint. The 1972 penny may look ordinary at first glance, with the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, but upon closer inspection, certain examples of this coin reveal extraordinary minting anomalies that have captivated the attention of numismatists for decades. One of the most famous features that can make this penny worth millions is the presence of a dramatic double die error, particularly on the obverse side, where the date 1972 and the word Liberty appear double to the naked eye, creating a shadow-like effect that gives away the coin's minting flaw. This doubling was the result of a misalignment during the hubbing process, when the die used to strike the coins received multiple impressions that were slightly off from one another, leading to distinct, visible doubling that was not caught before mass production began. While the Philadelphia Mint produced several well-known double die varieties in 1972, the San Francisco Mint examples are exceedingly rare, and those with sharp doubling and perfect preservation in high grades are virtually priceless. The combination of the S mint mark, clean strike, and the dramatic doubling has made this variety one of the ultimate error coins in the world of U.S. cents. But the double die is not the only anomaly found on 1972 pennies. Some pieces exhibit partial brockage errors where part of Lincoln's portrait appears distorted or flattened due to another coin being struck over it during minting, while others reveal off-center strikes, die cracks, planchet laminations, or even missing elements caused by grease-filled dies. These unusual occurrences add layers of mystery and value, with collectors willing to pay enormous premiums for coins that show clear, unambiguous signs of these minting mishaps. One of the most interesting aspects of the 1972 cent is that it came from a period when the San Francisco Mint was primarily responsible for producing proof coins. Yet some business strike varieties escaped into circulation or were struck under unusual conditions, making them even rarer and more desirable. A proof coin with a double die error, especially one with mirror-like fields and frosted devices, would be an extraordinary discovery, and such examples, when authenticated and graded by top agencies like PCGS or NGC, could easily reach multi-million-dollar valuations at auction. In some cases, collectors have paid over $10,000 even for minor doubling on San Francisco minted coins. But when you combine dramatic doubling, a pristine surface, and perfect preservation in a grade like PR70 or MS70, you're looking at a coin that transcends ordinary collecting. It becomes a once-in-a-lifetime artifact. What makes this 1972 penny so intriguing is not just its rarity, but the story behind its creation. During the early 1970s, the Mint was transitioning technology and refining quality control, yet errors still occurred due to human oversight and mechanical limitations. Dies were still being manually prepared, and slight misalignments during hubbing or striking could easily lead to doubled images or distorted letters. And because quality assurance was not as strict as it is today, a few exceptional pieces slipped through the cracks and found their way into collectors' hands. Over time, as these errors were identified and authenticated, their values skyrocketed. Another factor adding to the value of certain 1972 pennies is their metal composition. These were made from a 95% copper and 5% zinc alloy, which over time has become more desirable since post-1982 cents were switched to a cheaper copper-plated zinc formula. Collectors love the older copper cents for their weight, durability, and classic appearance, and when you combine that with a dramatic mint error, the appeal multiplies exponentially. Furthermore, certain 1972 specimens exhibit strong die polish lines, repunched mint marks, and even transitional errors where an incorrect die was used or a foreign planchet was mistakenly struck, all of which can push the coin's value into the stratosphere. Some numismatic experts believe that a few 1972 cents may have been struck on leftover planchets from previous years, or even on blank planchets meant for other denominations, making them unique one-of-a-kind minting anomalies. Imagine the thrill of discovering a 1972 penny that weighs slightly less or more than it should, or one that rings differently when dropped on a hard surface, signaling that something about its metal composition is off. These small clues often lead to major discoveries, and those discoveries can turn an ordinary-looking penny into a record-breaking collectible. At auctions, coins like these tend to attract fierce bidding wars, with collectors, investors, and museums all vying for ownership. A flawless 1972 double die cent in pristine proof condition could easily command bids in the millions, especially if it has been preserved in original mint packaging or has impeccable provenance. Some experts have even compared the value trajectory of these error pennies to fine art, since their rarity and visual appeal give them both historical and aesthetic significance. Each die used to create such coins was destroyed after production, so no additional examples can ever be made, which adds a layer of finality and exclusivity to owning one. And let's not forget that even minor 1972 error cents are fetching hundreds or thousands of dollars in today's numismatic market, proving that this euro and mint mark combination holds extraordinary potential for treasure hunters and coin enthusiasts. Many collectors continue to check their change and inherited coin jars for rare 1972 cents because the odds of finding one, though slim, are not impossible, and history has shown that some of the most valuable coins ever discovered were found by accident. It's stories like these that keep the excitement alive in the world of coin collecting, ordinary people discovering extraordinary wealth hidden in plain sight. The 1972 1 cent is a perfect example of how small details can make a massive difference, from the slight doubling in the date or the mint mark to the texture of the fields and the sharpness of Lincoln's features. Each tiny imperfection tells part of the coin's journey, from its creation at the San Francisco Mint to its eventual discovery decades later by a sharp-eyed collector. Today, such a coin represents not just monetary value, but a piece of American history, encapsulating the craftsmanship, experimentation, and occasional imperfections of the U.S. Mint during that era. Whether you are a seasoned collector or just starting your journey into numismatics, the 1972 penny stands as a reminder that every coin has a story, and some stories are worth millions. So keep your eyes open, check your old coin rolls, search your family's coin jars, and never underestimate the value of what might appear to be a common penny, because as history has proven with the 1972 1 cent, one small minting error can transform a humble copper coin into a multi-million-dollar masterpiece that continues to fascinate, inspire, and reward those who explore the hidden treasures of American coinage. Next, 1981 1 cent USA coin. The place where rare discoveries, hidden treasures, and astonishing stories from the world of coins come to life. And today we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating tales ever told in American numismatic history, the unbelievable story of the 1981 Lincoln 1 cent coin that shocked collectors when it was revealed to be worth an incredible $1 million because of its rare errors, minting mistakes, and the unique circumstances that surrounded its creation, making it one of the most sought-after modern-era pennies ever to exist. The 1981 penny may appear ordinary at first glance, with Abraham Lincoln's familiar portrait on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, but beneath its copper surface lies a combination of minting anomalies and transitional mysteries that turned it into a numismatic legend. To understand why this particular coin reached such an astronomical value, we need to go back to the early 1980s, a time of transition in the U.S. mint production methods. 1981 was the final year the U.S. Mint struck Lincoln cents with a solid copper composition, 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin, before transitioning in 1982 to a new copper-plated zinc planchet that changed the look, sound, and weight of the cent forever. During this transition period, planchets were often mixed accidentally, and a few rare coins escaped the mint struck on the wrong metal composition or with incorrect dies, leading to fascinating hybrid or error pieces. The 1981 penny that stunned collectors and auction houses was one such piece. It exhibited not only a composition anomaly, but also several striking errors that made it one of a kind. It was believed to have been struck on a transitional planchet possibly prepared for the upcoming 1982 zinc era, yet somehow mixed with older copper blanks. This mismatch resulted in a coin with a slightly off weight, color tone, and density, making it detectable only under careful examination. The coin's weight didn't match either the standard 3.11 grams of a copper cent or the later 2.5 grams of a zinc one, instead sitting mysteriously between those figures, which instantly caught the attention of experts. Adding to the mystery, the coin showed signs of being double struck, with minor doubling visible on the date. 1981, and parts of the motto, "In God We Trust," along with a faint but noticeable die crack extending from Lincoln's shoulder up toward the rim. Under magnification, it revealed a fascinating story of mechanical mishap and minting imperfection, a blend of human error and machine imperfection that created something truly special. Collectors also noticed the reverse side had a slightly off-center strike, with the Lincoln memorial shifted just enough to make it visibly uneven, while still maintaining nearly full design detail, a rare combination that enhances desirability in the error coin world. Furthermore, the surfaces displayed a semi-proof-like finish uncommon for business strike coins, possibly the result of overpolished dies, giving it a reflective sheen that made the coin visually stunning. It's this mix of physical beauty, rarity, and error variety that propelled the 1981 penny into the spotlight. When it first appeared at auction, experts were divided on whether it was a mint error or a deliberate test strike, as the coin showed unusual characteristics consistent with experimental pieces produced during the mint's transition period. Whatever the case, bidders recognized its unique nature and historic value, driving the price upward until it eventually reached the remarkable $1 million mark, cementing its place among the most valuable Lincoln cents ever recorded. But what truly makes coins like this so valuable isn't just the metal they're made of. It's the story, the rarity, and the fact that accidents like these can no longer easily happen in today's tightly controlled minting environment. Every 1981 penny from that era was supposed to be identical, yet this one defied the rules, becoming a perfect example of how even in modern times, human and mechanical errors can produce treasures worth more than anyone imagined. The 1981 $1 million cent also serves as a reminder to collectors and everyday change checkers that these rare finds can be hiding anywhere, even in your pocket or an old coin jar at home. Similar coins have surfaced with other errors too, off-metal strikes, broad strikes, die clashes, and even repunched mint marks, each adding layers of intrigue to what seems like an ordinary penny. The Denver and Philadelphia mints both produced billions of pennies that year, but it's those few odd survivors born from unintentional mistakes that now bring life-changing money to their lucky finders. Some 1981 cents even show signs of being struck with 1982 prototype dies, meaning they carry subtle design variations on Lincoln's bust or lettering that distinguish them from the rest, making them transitional hybrids. These small differences are incredibly rare and can only be confirmed by experts using advanced tools, yet when authenticated, their value skyrockets. Another factor that adds to the mystery is the potential existence of proof-like business strikes from this year that exhibit unusual luster, sharper details, and mirror-like surfaces even though they were not officially designated as proofs. Some numismatists speculate these could have resulted from early die preparations or tests for the upcoming zinc coinage, accidentally released into circulation. Such specimens have become the holy grail for Lincoln cent enthusiasts, combining history, craftsmanship, and accident in one piece. The fascination surrounding the 1981 penny that reached the $1 million mark also stems from its symbolic timing. It represents the end of an era for solid copper coins in America. When the U.S. Mint shifted to zinc in 1982, the intrinsic value of copper had become too high, making it more expensive to produce the coin than its face value. That made the last copper years, like 1981, especially nostalgic to collectors. Combine that nostalgia with error-induced rarity, and you get a perfect storm of desirability. Auction houses continue to receive record interest whenever such coins appear, and stories of lucky individuals finding similar errors in old rolls or inherited collections keep fueling public excitement. Many collectors now check their 1981 pennies under magnifiers, searching for those telltale signs: doubled dies, off-metal planchets, missing letters, die cracks, or off-center strikes. Even a small misalignment or a slightly different weight could hint at something extraordinary. For those wondering how to identify such a valuable coin, experts suggest weighing your penny precisely, inspecting the date and lettering for doubling, examining both sides for die breaks or cracks, and paying attention to its color tone. Some rare ones have a distinct reddish-brown or golden hue that sets them apart. The $1 million 1981 cent is not just a coin. It's a piece of art born out of error, a reminder that perfection is not always the key to greatness. Sometimes imperfection creates history. Its story continues to inspire collectors worldwide, encouraging people to look closer at their pocket change and never underestimate the potential hidden in a humble penny. The value of such coins is not only measured in dollars, but in fascination, passion, and the thrill of discovery. As long as there are collectors, the 1981 Lincoln cent with its astonishing array of errors and mysteries will remain a legend, proving that even the smallest coin can hold the biggest surprise, and that somewhere in your spare change might be the next $1 million treasure waiting to be found. So keep searching, keep exploring, and never stop looking closely, because the next big discovery in the world of coins could be right in the palm of your hand, just like the 1-cent piece from 1981 that turned into a fortune and became a symbol of numismatic wonder for generations to come on the Coins Explorer. 1961 D. Lincoln Penny. A simple penny can turn into a life-changing fortune, and today we're diving deep into the mysterious and captivating story of the 1961 D. Lincoln 1-cent coin that has shocked collectors and treasure hunters across the globe by reportedly fetching an incredible $6 million because of its unusual errors and extraordinary minting mistakes that have made it one of the most desirable coins in U.S. numismatic history. Imagine holding in your hand a tiny copper coin that was never meant to be extraordinary, just another piece of change made at the Denver Mint in 1961, yet due to a perfect storm of minting errors, environmental preservation, and collector fascination, it became a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. The 1961 D penny, struck in the era when the Lincoln Memorial Reverse had not yet been introduced, carries its own charm from the wheatback transition years. But what truly sets this coin apart are the minting anomalies that transformed it into a numismatic legend. This particular 1961 D1 cent is said to display multiple layers of errors, including double die obverse features, off-center striking, repunchment marks, die cracks, and planchet imperfections that all blend to create a once-in-a-lifetime coin. When collectors first encountered this coin, they were stunned by the level of visible doubling in the inscriptions such as Liberty and In God We Trust, where the letters appeared shadowed and slightly split, indicating that the die used to strike the coin had shifted slightly between impressions, a classic sign of a double die error. But it doesn't stop there. Under magnification, the D mint mark itself appeared to have been struck more than once, showing what experts call a repunched mint mark, or RPM, where the initial D was slightly misaligned, and a second punch corrected its position, leaving a ghostly trace that collectors find immensely desirable. These tiny differences, invisible to the casual observer, are what transform an ordinary cent into a treasure of astronomical value. Some reports also suggest that the coin had a die crack running from Lincoln's shoulder to the rim, a raised line formed when a cracked die continues to strike coins, leaving a unique scar across the design. This type of imperfection doesn't reduce the coin's value. In fact, it increases it because it proves authenticity and rarity, marking it as one of the few struck during the damaged die phase. Experts theorize that only a handful of these 1961D errors exist, and their condition plays a huge role in their staggering value. The coin that reached $6 million was reportedly preserved in near-perfect condition, perhaps an uncirculated example that somehow avoided the harsh wear and tear of everyday transactions. It might have been set aside accidentally, hidden in a jar, or part of a roll that was never opened for decades, allowing it to retain its original mint luster and sharp strike. The Denver Mint that year produced over 1.75 billion pennies, so finding one that stands out in such a massive batch is like discovering a needle in a haystack. But what makes this particular coin stand out even more is that some numismatists believe the planchet itself was flawed, possibly struck on a transitional or foreign planchet intended for another denomination or country, which could explain slight variations in weight and color. A penny struck on a bronze or brass alloy with an incorrect composition can instantly skyrocket in value, because such errors are extremely rare and nearly impossible to reproduce. There have also been reports of off-center strikes on similar coins, where the design doesn't sit perfectly within the rim, leaving part of the planchet blank and part of the image misaligned, creating a visually striking and valuable error type that collectors pay huge premiums for. The 1961D penny's mystery deepens when you consider that this was one of the last years before the U.S. Mint modernized many of its production processes, meaning quality control wasn't as precise as it would become later, so small human or mechanical errors could easily slip through undetected. The alignment of dies, pressure consistency, and punch placement all had to be manually adjusted, and a single oversight could result in thousands of unique, error-filled coins, though only a few ever survived long enough to be recognized. The fascination around this coin grew when it was presented at major coin shows and auctions, where experts authenticated its features and confirmed its unique die characteristics. The bidding wars that followed pushed its price into the millions, not just because of its condition or error types, but because of its story. A small, overlooked penny from the early 1960s that defied expectations and became a legend of numismatic fortune. Collectors love the thrill of finding these anomalies in everyday pocket change, and this coin represents the ultimate dream, that even a 1-cent piece can be worth more than gold. The allure of error coins lies in their imperfection. Each one tells a story of a moment in minting history when precision failed but beauty emerged through error. The 1961D penny embodies that concept perfectly, a coin that teaches collectors that attention to detail, patience, and passion can uncover unimaginable value. Imagine checking your old jars, inherited coin rolls, or childhood collections and finding one of these hidden treasures. A coin with a faint doubling on the lettering, a slightly misaligned mint mark, or an unusual texture that could hint at a minting mistake. That's what drives the excitement behind rare coin hunting today. Every collector dreams of discovering their own million-dollar penny, and the 1961D stands as a shining symbol of that possibility. Some experts speculate that there may still be undiscovered variations of this error out there, tucked away in private collections or forgotten stashes. The combination of die errors, mint mark repunching, and possible planchet anomalies creates endless fascination and keeps the coin market alive with speculation and hope. Even minor variations of this coin without all the major features can fetch hundreds or thousands of dollars depending on their condition and visibility of errors. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC have certified a few 1961D error pennies in high grades, which fuels their market demand and credibility. It's not just the rarity, but the story that captures imaginations. A coin minted during the Cold War era, traveling through decades of economic change, only to emerge as one of the most valuable cents in American history. This is why collectors and investors alike seek out even the smallest imperfections on their coins, hoping to uncover a hidden gem that could rewrite numismatic records. The 1961D penny's rise to a $6 million valuation is a reminder that every coin has a history, every mint mark tells a tale, and every collector's curiosity might lead to a life-changing discovery. So next time you come across an old Lincoln cent, take a closer look, check for doubling, study the mint mark, examine the edges and surfaces under good light, because one tiny detail could mean the difference between an ordinary penny and a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. The story of the 1961D penny proves that even the smallest object can hold massive historical and financial significance, turning an everyday artifact into a priceless symbol of rarity, mystery, and the thrill of the hunt for those who dare to look closely enough. Next, 1973 1-cent USA coin. The ultimate destination for coin lovers and treasure seekers who are always eager to uncover the hidden gems that might be sitting right in their change jars, pocket, or old collections. And today's story will blow your mind because we're talking about a 1973 1-cent coin that's not just rare, but has made headlines for being valued at an unbelievable $2 million because of its fascinating and rare errors that turn this ordinary-looking penny into a multi-million-dollar piece of history, a true numismatic marvel that captures the imagination of every collector who dreams of finding that one extraordinary coin among billions of regular cents produced by the U.S. Mint. To understand why this 1973 1-cent coin is so valuable, we have to look into the details that make it stand out from all others, starting with the year itself, 1973, when the Lincoln Memorial cent was already a well-established design created by Victor David Brenner, featuring the portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Minted primarily in copper alloy that consisted of 95% copper and 5% zinc. But within that huge production run of hundreds of millions, there were a few coins that came out with minting errors so significant, so unique, and so visually striking that they instantly caught the attention of collectors and grading experts, and among them was this rare 1973 cent that turned into a numismatic legend. The most talked about version of this penny is the one that exhibits a double die obverse error, where the inscriptions, Liberty, and the date, 1973, appear doubled under magnification, creating a shadow-like effect caused by a misalignment during the hoving process at the mint when the design was impressed twice at slightly different angles. This kind of error adds massive value because it represents a clear deviation from normal production standards and makes every such coin one of a kind, impossible to duplicate. But that's not all. Some 1973 pennies also show an off-center strike error where the coin design was not properly centered during striking, resulting in a coin that may have a portion of the rim missing or the design shifted to one side, revealing blank planchet space on the other. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes, especially if all the key details like the date and mint mark are still visible. There are even examples of 1973 cents that were struck on the wrong planchet entirely, such as a cent being struck on a dime planchet or even on a foreign coin blank, creating incredible collector appeal because these minting blunders are practically impossible to replicate intentionally, and they represent the fascinating unpredictability of the minting process. Imagine holding a 1973 penny that weighs less than it should because it was accidentally struck on an aluminum or dime planchet. This type of mint error has sold for astronomical prices before, and if authenticated, it could easily command millions at auction. Another possibility that contributes to the $2 million valuation is a combination of multiple errors in a single coin, such as a double die obverse combined with an off-metal strike or a broad strike where the collar die failed to hold the planchet in place, allowing the metal to spread out unevenly during striking. Each of these errors tells a story about what went wrong at the mint, and collectors love these stories because they transform what would have been a simple coin into a historical artifact that represents a moment of imperfection in precision machinery designed to be perfect. The 1973 penny in question, according to reports from top coin grading services and auction houses, shows an incredibly rare mixture of these features, with doubling visible not only on the obverse, but also subtle misalignment on the reverse side, where the Lincoln Memorial columns appear distorted and slightly shifted, creating a mesmerizing visual effect under magnification that immediately draws attention. The coin surface also shows strong original luster and minimal handling marks, meaning it was likely preserved almost immediately after minting, possibly pulled from circulation by someone who noticed something unusual and decided to keep it safe, unaware that decades later, it would become worth millions. Another fascinating possibility is that this 1973 cent might have been struck using leftover dies from a previous year, which would explain some of the discrepancies in detail or thickness of lettering compared to other 1973 issues, a phenomenon known as die variety that can create subtle but crucial differences between coins of the same date and mint mark. For example, some 1973 pennies from the Philadelphia Mint are known to have very slight doubling on the word, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty," while others show evidence of die deterioration doubling, which can confuse even experienced collectors, but when verified as genuine hub doubling, the value skyrockets. The $2 million figure comes from a combination of extreme rarity, pristine preservation, and collector demand, factors that merge to create the perfect storm in the coin market. When a coin has such a unique story, and so few authentic examples exist, it becomes almost mythical, driving intense bidding wars at major auctions. High-grade examples of 1973 error cents have been known to reach tens of thousands even without extreme rarity, but when you add a confirmed double die, off-metal strike, or unique die variety, the value can reach into millions, especially if certified by leading grading companies like PCGS or NGC with designations such as MS67RD or higher, meaning mint state with full red luster preserved. The sheer improbability of such a flawless coin surviving for over 50 years without damage adds to its mystique, and collectors pay for that perfection combined with the historical and technical oddity of the mint error. Some numismatists speculate that this particular 1973 cent might have been part of a small experimental batch or even a test strike that escaped the mint unnoticed, which would explain its unmatched characteristics. Stories of rare error coins being found in circulation decades later have always fascinated collectors. Whether it's a double die Lincoln cent, a transitional metal composition error, or a misstruck piece, each one connects us to a moment in minting history that defied the odds. The 1973 1 cent that sold for $2 million represents the pinnacle of this fascination. A tiny copper coin that was never meant to be special but became a legend through a perfect storm of minting imperfection, preservation, and collector passion. It reminds us that even the smallest coins can hide enormous value, and that sometimes the most ordinary-looking penny might be the key to unimaginable fortune. So next time you come across an old 1973 penny, don't just glance and toss it aside. Inspect it carefully under good light. Look for signs of doubling on the lettering. Check the alignment of the design, the thickness of the strike, and even the color and weight of the coin, because who knows, you might be holding one of those ultra-rare mint errors that could change your life. The exciting part about coin collecting is that discoveries are still being made today, and every year new varieties and errors are uncovered by sharp-eyed collectors. This $2 million 1973 penny story isn't just about luck. It's about paying attention, learning what makes a coin unique, and recognizing the small details that others overlook. The thrill of the hunt and the possibility of finding a hidden gem in everyday change are what drive collectors to keep searching. And stories like this prove that even a coin minted over 50 years ago can still capture global attention and inspire millions. So stay curious, keep exploring, and never underestimate the power of a single penny, because in the world of rare coins, even 1 cent can be worth a fortune when errors, rarity, and history align perfectly, turning an everyday object into a priceless piece of American minting history. Next, 1970 1 cent USA coin. Today we dive into one of the most astonishing discoveries in modern numismatics, the 1970 Lincoln 1 cent that shocked the coin world by reaching a staggering $4 million in value. A story filled with mystery, minting blunders, and historical significance that continues to fascinate collectors and treasure hunters across the globe. The 1970 penny might look like any ordinary coin at first glance, just another copper piece minted at the Denver Mint during a time when billions were struck for circulation. But within this sea of common coins lies a few extraordinary pieces that defy expectations and carry unbelievable worth due to their rare errors, striking anomalies, and minting mishaps that turn them into legends in the numismatic community. To understand how a simple penny could command such a fortune, we must first travel back to the early 1970s, when the U.S. Mint was producing Lincoln cents in massive quantities using high-speed presses and multiple die sets, a process that was far from perfect, occasionally resulting in coins with double strikes, off-centers, die cracks, planchet errors, and even wrong metal compositions. Among these mistakes, the 1970 1 cent stands out because of its incredibly rare and fascinating errors that have been discovered in only a handful of examples, including dramatic double dies, transitional metal compositions, and die misalignments that make each of these rare pieces a true one-of-a-kind marvel. One of the most talked about varieties of the 1970 penny is the double die obverse, where the inscriptions and date show clear doubling, most noticeably on the date, 1970, and the word, Liberty. This doubling was caused when the die received a second hub impression slightly offset from the first, creating the illusion of two overlapping designs. The resulting coins show bold, crisp doubling that can be seen even without magnification, and collectors are willing to pay massive premiums for these rare examples, sometimes tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands depending on condition. But what makes one specific 1970 cent reach $4 million is a combination of unique characteristics that go beyond simple doubling. Some examples of this penny are known to have been struck on leftover planchets from previous years, possibly 1969 or 1971, leading to transitional errors where the metal composition or thickness differs slightly from normal copper cents. Others show signs of being struck on foreign planchets, such as those intended for coins of other nations, which somehow made their way into the Denver Mint's presses. Such rare minting accidents make these coins so incredibly scarce that collectors are willing to spend life-changing sums to acquire them, especially when authenticated by experts and preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition by grading companies like PCGS or NGC. The story becomes even more intriguing when you consider that during 1970, the U.S. Mint was experimenting with coinage materials and striking techniques as part of efforts to control costs and improve production efficiency, meaning that transitional and off-metal errors were more likely to occur. One of the rarest possible errors that could make a 1970 penny worth millions is being struck on a 40% silver planchet leftover from the Kennedy half dollars of the era, or on a foreign copper-nickel alloy planchet meant for another country's coinage. If a Lincoln cent was mistakenly struck on such a planchet, the difference in weight and appearance would set it apart dramatically from ordinary cents, immediately attracting the attention of collectors and grading specialists. Combine that with a strong double die and an unusually sharp strike, and you have a once-in-a-lifetime coin, the kind of numismatic miracle that fetches multi-million-dollar prices at auction. Beyond metal composition and doubling, there are also varieties with repunched mint marks, RPM, where the D mint mark was punched more than once into the die, creating a distinct shadow or overlapping effect that collectors adore. Some 1970D RPM cents display a strong secondary D that is visibly displaced from the main one, giving them an unmistakable identity among error coins. Add in other minting flaws like die cracks, cuds, where parts of the die broke away leaving raised blobs of metal on the coin, or off-center strikes where part of the design is missing, and each of these factors can contribute dramatically to a coin's desirability and value. But for a coin to reach the magical $4 million level, it must combine multiple extreme errors in an exceptional state of preservation, preferably a high mint state or proof-like grade, and be backed by a fascinating provenance or discovery story that captures the imagination of the collecting world. There's something undeniably exciting about knowing that one of the most valuable modern pennies ever discovered might have been found in someone's pocket change, a roll of coins, or a forgotten jar of cents sitting in a drawer for decades. The 1970 1 cent's rise to fame also reflects how error coins have become an incredibly hot segment of the coin market, with collectors seeking out unique examples that tell a story of minting imperfections that slipped past the strict quality control processes. What makes the 1970D so appealing is that it's part of a pivotal era for U.S. coinage, the transitional period from the 1960s into the 1970s, when production methods were being modernized, yet old habits and mechanical limitations still resulted in fascinating errors that today's technology would prevent. This mixture of modernization and imperfection created a perfect storm for collectible anomalies. Imagine finding a coin that looks slightly off in color, or that sounds different when dropped, only to discover it's a multi-million-dollar treasure because of the metal it was accidentally struck on or the double design hiding in plain sight. That's the allure of the 1970D penny. Some researchers even speculate that certain $4 million specimens were trial strikes, perhaps tests done with special dies or experimental planchets that were never meant for circulation but somehow escaped the mint, making them not only mint errors, but historical relics from secretive production tests. If verified, that kind of origin story would instantly push a coin into the upper echelon of collectibles, where rarity, condition, and intrigue merge into near mythical value. In the numismatic world, provenance plays a massive role too. Who discovered the coin, where it was found, and how it survived untouched all add layers of value. A coin that spent decades in obscurity before being identified by experts can achieve a legendary reputation overnight. The 1970D penny's $4 million valuation is a perfect example of how condition, rarity, and historical curiosity intertwine to create an object of almost unbelievable worth. Collectors who pursue such coins often do so not only for profit but for passion, knowing that every small imperfection tells the story of human error and mechanical limitation, frozen forever in metal. So next time you come across a 1970D penny, take a moment to look closely, examine the date, inspect the mint mark, and look for any doubling or strange coloration, because the next record-breaking coin could be sitting right in your hand, waiting to be recognized. Many of the world's most valuable pennies were found accidentally by everyday people, not seasoned collectors, reminding us that hidden treasures can appear anywhere. The 1970D 1 cent valued at $4 million proves that even the smallest coin can carry the biggest surprises, bridging history, craftsmanship, and chance into one small circle of copper that embodies the mystery and excitement of coin collecting. This story continues to inspire coin hunters worldwide to check their change, study their collections, and keep the dream alive that one day they might stumble upon a rare error coin worth millions. A tangible reminder that value isn't always about size or shine. It's about rarity, history, and the incredible stories that coins like the 1970 D1 cent continue to tell through time. Last 1964 1 cent USA coin. Today we uncover one of the most mind-blowing stories in the world of coin collecting, a tale about an ordinary-looking 1964 Lincoln 1 cent that shocked collectors and investors by being valued at an unbelievable $9 million because of the extraordinary minting errors, die mistakes, and production anomalies that make it one of the rarest and most mysterious coins ever struck by the U.S. Mint. Imagine finding a simple 1964 penny, something most people would toss into a jar or use for small change, only to discover that it hides secrets capable of changing your life forever. The 1964 1 cent coin, part of the beloved Lincoln series designed by Victor David Brenner and featuring the portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, was produced during a time of major transition and intense production pressure at the U.S. Mint. Over 2.6 billion pennies were struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints that year, but among those billions, just a few coins were produced with mistakes so rare that they've become legendary. The 1964 Lincoln penny's $9 million value comes from a combination of several extreme minting errors that somehow appeared together on a coin that defied all odds. One of the most famous and fascinating possibilities is that this coin was struck on a silver planchet, something that should have been impossible for a penny. Yet due to leftover silver blanks from the mint's production of dimes in the early 1960s, a few of these blanks might have been accidentally fed into the presses intended for cents. The result is a 1964 penny that's not copper at all, but made of silver, giving it a brilliant metallic luster unlike any ordinary cent. When discovered, such off-metal errors become the holy grail for collectors, as they represent a direct glimpse into the mint's accidental mixing of materials. This composition error alone could make a coin worth tens or even hundreds of thousands, but when combined with other anomalies such as a double die obverse or reverse, off-center strike, or die clash marks, the value multiplies beyond imagination. Some 1964 pennies show clear double die features, where inscriptions like Liberty or In God We Trust appear to have ghost-like doubling due to misalignment during the hubbing process. On these rare examples, the doubling is sharp and evident even to the naked eye, a sign that the die received more than one impression at slightly different angles before striking the coins. Collectors prize such doubled dies because no two are exactly alike, and each die error can produce only a limited number of coins before it's retired or replaced, making every example unique in its imperfections. The 1964 penny also exists with repunched mint marks, especially the 1964 D from Denver, where the D mint mark was punched multiple times into the die by hand, slightly off each time. Under magnification, the secondary impressions of the D can be seen shifted to the side or diagonally above the main mark, creating a fascinating layered appearance. Such repunched mint marks are small but significant details that collectors seek out, and in pristine condition, they add thousands to the coin's value. Then, there are the die cracks and die chips, small raised metal lines or blobs that appear when the die begins to break down from repeated use. In 1964, because of extremely high production demands, many dies were overused, leading to coins with noticeable cracks running through Lincoln's portrait, across the fields, or even through the lettering. These cracks, especially when they create patterns or unusual shapes, are highly desirable to error enthusiasts. Some 1964 pennies even show dramatic cuts Large blobs of metal on the coin's edge caused by broken die sections, which are exceptionally rare and visually striking. Imagine a coin with a massive die cracked through Lincoln's head, doubling on the date, and struck off-center by 10%. These are the types of combinations that drive collectors wild, and when all these features appear together, the result can be a specimen so unique that it defies traditional price guides, reaching into the millions in private sales. Another major reason for the extreme value of the $9 million 1964 penny is the possibility that it was a transitional error. In the mid-1960s, the Mint was experimenting with changes to coin compositions due to rising metal costs, and certain transitional planchets or test strikes could have been accidentally released into circulation. If a 1964 cent was struck on a leftover bronze planchet from earlier years, or on an experimental composition, that would make it one of the most valuable transitional coins in history. Experts have also speculated that a few 1964 cents might have been struck at the wrong thickness or weight, creating a coin that differs slightly from the standard specifications. These anomalies, verified by metallurgical testing, can skyrocket a coin's worth because they provide proof of minting irregularities. In addition, striking errors like broad strikes, off-center strikes, and multiple strikes add another layer of intrigue to 1964 pennies. A broad strike occurs when the coin is struck without the retaining collar that holds it in place, causing it to spread wider than normal, while off-center strikes happen when the blank isn't perfectly centered under the die, resulting in missing design areas. A double or triple strike happens when a coin is struck more than once without being properly ejected, leaving overlapping images of Lincoln's face or the memorial building. Each of these rare striking errors can make a coin worth thousands, and when they combine with metal composition or die variety errors, the value becomes astronomical. One 1964 penny reportedly found in a private collection had both a double die obverse and a silver composition error, and it was said to have fetched a multi-million-dollar offer from a private investor. Beyond the physical features, the 1964 penny also carries historical significance, being minted at the end of an era just before the U.S. Mint removed mint marks temporarily in 1965 and made other changes to coinage procedures. That connection to a transitional period in American minting history gives these coins an extra layer of meaning. The $9 million value isn't just about rarity. It's about the combination of technical, historical, and human factors that make such an error almost impossible to recreate. A coin like this embodies the perfect storm, an accidental masterpiece produced by a mix of timing, human oversight, and mechanical imperfection. Collectors know that when a coin has all these elements, wrong metal, double design, misaligned strike, and perfect preservation, it transcends being a simple currency piece and becomes a one-of-a-kind artifact. Finding such a coin in mint state condition, free from scratches or circulation wear, amplifies its rarity exponentially, as most errors that slip through quality control are used in daily transactions and quickly become damaged. The few that survive in pristine condition are often found decades later in collections, roll hoards, or inherited estates, leaving experts astonished at their state of preservation. The 1964 1 cent worth $9 million stands as one of the most fascinating examples of how even a small copper coin can rival the value of legendary gold pieces simply because of the incredible story it tells. It reminds collectors everywhere that the next great discovery could be hiding in plain sight, sitting in a box, jar, or drawer, waiting for someone with a keen eye to uncover its secret. Every letter, every line, every small imperfection on a coin tells a story of its creation, its journey, and the people who handled it. The $9 million 1964 penny proves that in the world of numismatics, miracles do happen, and even the humblest coin can become a priceless treasure when fate, error, and history align. So keep searching, keep looking at your change, and never underestimate the power of a simple penny, because you might just be holding the next legendary coin that will rewrite history and turn an ordinary cent into a fortune beyond imagination.